Welcome back to Relay English. Welcome back to Relay Talks. Today's topic is one I've been wanting to do for a while. How do you actually make friends in English?
And I want to emphasize actually there, because there's a big difference between talking to someone in English and genuinely connecting with them.
Right, you can have a transactional conversation. Excuse me, where is the bathroom? What time does the meeting start? That's using English, but making friends is something different.
It requires small talk. It requires humor. It requires a willingness to be a little bit vulnerable. And a lot of English learners feel like, I can pass the test, but I cannot do this.
I understand that, because the social layer of English is the layer nobody teaches in a classroom.
Let's start with small talk, because I think it's the gateway to every friendship. And a lot of people hate it.
A lot of people hate it. I used to hate it. It can feel pointless. Nice weather. How was your weekend? So busy lately.
But here's the thing, small talk is not about the weather. It's about signaling. You are saying, I am friendly. I am safe to approach. I am open to connection.
It's like a handshake, but with words.
Exactly. And once you understand that, you stop judging small talk as boring. You start seeing it as a social protocol that has a function.
So the goal of small talk is not to say something interesting. The goal is to make the other person feel comfortable.
Okay, what are the building blocks of English small talk?
A few things. First, observation plus question. You notice something, and you turn it into a bridge. That looks like a great book. What's it about? Oh, you're from Australia. I've always wanted to visit. What part?
You're giving them something to respond to. You're not demanding, you're offering an opening.
Second, the follow-up. This is where a lot of people drop the ball. They ask a question, get an answer, and then there's silence. You have to follow up. Oh wow, how long did that take? And did you enjoy it? What was that like?
The follow-up says, I'm genuinely interested in you, not just going through the motions.
And genuine interest, people can feel it. It's what separates a nice interaction from the beginning of a friendship.
Third element, sharing yourself. Small talk goes both ways. If you ask someone about their weekend and they tell you, you should offer yours too. That sounds really fun. We actually tried to go hiking, but it rained, so we ended up watching movies all day.
Now you've given them something to respond to. Oh, which movie? Yeah, the weather's been terrible. It keeps going.
It's like a volley in tennis. You hit it back and forth. Neither person should just be receiving.
Now let's talk about going deeper, because small talk can only take you so far. At some point, if you want a real friendship, you have to go past surface level.
And the way you do that in English is usually through shared experience and honest self-disclosure.
Shared experience means you've been through something together, even something small. You both got stuck in the same traffic jam. You both struggled with the same assignment. That creates a we.
And that we is the beginning of a friendship. Can you believe that presentation? I thought it would never end. Now you have an in-group, just the two of you sharing a moment.
Self-disclosure means you say something true about yourself, not your full life story, just something real. Honestly, I was pretty nervous about this. I don't usually like these events, but this one's actually been good.
That vulnerability, even at a small level, invites the other person to meet you there. And if they do, you've crossed from acquaintance to something more.
Let's talk about online English friendships, because this is where a lot of people actually start. Gaming communities, Twitter, Discord, YouTube comments.
And online is genuinely a great place to make English connections. Because the pressure is lower, you have time to think before you type. You can read what you write before sending it. You're in a context you already care about. Gaming, a fandom, a hobby.
And the language in those spaces is usually casual and forgiving. People are there because they love the same thing. That shared interest is the whole foundation.
My honest advice, find an English-speaking community around something you genuinely care about. Not an English learning group necessarily. An actual interest group where English happens to be the language.
Because then you're not practicing English. You're just talking about things you love. And the English gets better as a side effect.
Okay, last thing. The number one enemy of making English friends.
Over-editing yourself.
Yes, taking so long to decide what to say that the moment passes, or not saying something because you're not sure it sounds right, or laughing at a joke and then not contributing because you don't have the perfect response ready.
In conversations, timing matters. Sometimes a short, imperfect response in the moment beats a perfect one that arrives too late.
Let us make this really practical. Suppose someone wants to make English-speaking friends, but they feel awkward starting. The first thing is to stop trying to make a friend in one conversation.
Yes, that goal is too big. It creates pressure.
Aim for one small positive interaction. That is it. A short exchange where the other person feels, that was pleasant.
Friendship grows from repeated pleasant interactions, not from one perfect introduction.
The first skill is not deep conversation. It is re-entry. How do you talk to the same person again?
Great point. If you talked to someone last week about a TV show, next time you can say, "Hey, I finally watched that episode you mentioned."
Or you were right about that restaurant. Or I tried the game you recommended.
That tells the person, "I listened, I remembered, I followed up."
And that is friendship language. Remembering details matters more than having perfect grammar.
Another practical tool is the three-question limit.
What is that?
Some learners make conversation by asking question after question. Where are you from? What do you do? Do you like it? How long have you lived here? It starts to feel like an interview.
Yes, friendly intention, but interview energy.
So after one or two questions, add something about yourself. Balance curiosity with self-disclosure.
If you ask, what kind of music do you like? And they answer, do not immediately ask another question. Say, oh nice, I have been listening to a lot of indie music lately.
Now it is a conversation, not a survey.
I think learners also need escape phrases because sometimes a conversation naturally ends and they do not know how to leave without being awkward.
That is useful. Give some examples.
It was really nice talking to you. I should let you get back to it. I am going to grab a drink, but I will see you around. Let us talk again sometime.
Those phrases are socially smooth. They end the interaction warmly without making it strange.
And ending well is important. If the conversation ends comfortably, the next conversation is easier.
About keeping in touch online.
Keep it light at first. Send something connected to your shared interest. This reminded me of what you said. I saw this and thought you might like it. Have you seen this video?
That is much better than suddenly sending a very intense message like, "Hello, my friend. I want to improve my English with you every day."
Please do not lead with that.
Because now the other person feels assigned a job.
Exactly. Friendship is mutual. If the only reason you contact someone is, please practice English with me, it can feel one-sided.
So connect through the shared interest first. English practice is the side effect.
That is the theme of this whole episode. Friends are not language tools. They are people.
And when you treat them like people, the English becomes more natural anyway.
One more thing. Do not apologize for your English every time you speak.
Yes, once is okay if you really need to, but constant apologizing puts the other person in the position of reassuring you again and again.
Instead of sorry my English is bad, try give me a second I am finding the word. That is confident and honest.
It keeps the conversation moving without turning your English into the main problem.
And most people will wait. They are not timing you.
So the friendship formula is simple but not easy. Show up, remember details, share a little follow-up, and do not make English the whole relationship.
That is how English becomes social, not just academic.
And there is one more fear. What if they do not want to talk to me?
That fear is normal, but it is also true in every language.
Exactly. Not every interaction becomes friendship. That is not an English failure.
Some people are busy, some are shy, some already have their social circle, some just are not your people.
So do not judge your social English from one cold response.
Judge it from repeated attempts in different contexts.
And if someone responds warmly, continue. If they do not, exit politely and try somewhere else.
Friendship is partly language, but it is also chemistry, timing, shared interest, and repeated contact.
That means your job is not to force friendship. Your job is to create chances for connection.
And English is the bridge, not the whole relationship.
When learners understand that, they become less desperate and more natural.
which ironically makes friendship easier.
A final practical challenge. Prepare 3 friend-making sentences before you need them.
One opener, one follow-up, one exit.
Opener, how do you know everyone here? Follow up, that sounds interesting, how did you get into that? Exit, it was really nice talking to you.
With just those 3, you can start, continue, and end a conversation politely.
And if the conversation goes well, you can add one bridge sentence. We should talk again sometime.
Simple, human, useful.
Friendship does not need perfect English. It needs enough English to show interest and warmth.
And warmth is often simple.
Remembering a name, asking a follow-up, laughing at the right moment, saying that sounds fun and meaning it.
Those small signals matter more than complex vocabulary.
People become friends with people who make them feel comfortable.
So let your English be simple if it needs to be. Make the connection clear. English friendships, like all friendships, are built on presence. Being there, responding, showing up in the conversation, not on grammatical perfection.
All right, this week's challenge. Find one opportunity to use English in a social context. One comment, one reply, one small talk opener. Just one. See what happens.
And tell us in the comments, do you have any English friends, online or in person? Or is that something you're working toward? We're curious.
We read everything. Subscribe for more Relay Talks every week. Keep talking.
Keep talking.